I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I'm gonna get straight to the point. You have to get out of your own way. If you're someone that has big goals, they have big dreams, big aspirations, this video is for you. When I started this content creation journey, I was very uncertain about what I was gonna talk about, what I was gonna articulate on. And that made me very uncertain. That made me very hesitant to start. But what does that actually mean, get out of your own way? You know, how are we in our own ways of success? When we want to do everything we can to get there, work as hard as we can, stress as much as we can, the more you do, the less likely you will get there, to the place that you want to be. The only thing that you have to worry about is creating a mental picture of where you want to be. It isn't just saying, oh, I'm gonna have this fantasy land in another country with my dream wife. No. You have to think about the feelings that you will have when you be there. You know, when you wake up, what is that feeling in your chest gonna be? When you get out of bed and you're in your dream house with your dream wife next to you, what is that feeling? That feeling that you're proud of yourself, that you fucking made it. Doesn't that feel amazing? How does the ground feel when you get out of bed? Is it soft? What does the room smell like? How does your body feel? Do you feel light? Are you in the best shape of your life? These are the details that you have to mentally picture. Our brains are naturally built to go after goals and go after things, you know what I mean? To have a purpose, you know, we're goal-oriented creatures. You know, that is what our brains are meant to do. So we have this thing called a creative mechanism. And a creative mechanism is like your imagination, right? And it can either turn your brain into a failure mechanism or a success mechanism. And you choose by giving imagination to your creative mechanism. So if you imagine, you know, bad things, like anxiety, you know what I mean? Like anxiety forces us to imagine things that aren't real. You know, it gives us negative perceptions of reality. So when you give that negative anxiety and that stress to your creative mechanism, it's gonna give it to a failure mechanism. It's gonna make you fail. If you give positive things to your imagination, like where you wanna be, you know, what feelings do you wanna have when you get there? You know, positive thoughts, positive self-image, that will bring it to your success mechanism. It'll make you a more successful person. Your mind does not know the difference between imagined experiences and real experiences. Like, think about that shit. Our brains are subconsciously wired to think of, you know, past experiences and past reactions that other people have had of us. But your brain doesn't know the difference between like vividly imagined ones and real ones. So you can literally create experiences that didn't even happen, but your brain will think they're real. So you will get the experience from that. So for example, me personally, you know, I'm working on my social skills, right? And my communication. You know, I haven't been a very good communicator in my life, but that was in the past, right? I put the past behind and I'm starting like fresh, you can say. I'm basically every day for 30 minutes, I'm imagining myself as a social person, right? You know, how does that make me feel? You know, going around the room, talking to all these different people. How does that make me feel? How does other people feel? You know, do they feel comfortable around me? You know, these feelings, they make me feel good. You know what I mean? That's the feelings I'm trying to have. And every single day, I swear to God, I'm becoming a better communicator. Like just a second ago, I was at the gym, I was talking to my boy, and I just felt so much more in, you know, a flow. I used to be the most introverted person, you know what I mean? Like I would literally, I guarantee you, I spoke the least amount of words like in my class. Like I'm not even joking, I was so silent every single day. And I'm becoming basically the most social person I possibly can. And that all is because of my success mechanism. I give it positive self-image. I give it positive things. I give it perfect mental images. You know, how am I gonna speak? I speak my chest, you know, make eye contact. Whatever position you're in, you can do it. You can make a clean slate. I think that's what's so beautiful about life and our brains. You know, that's what I've learned about from psycho-cybernetics is that you can create a new life with your self-image like I've talked about in previous videos. And if you don't know who I am, my name is Quinn, and I basically help you evolve into the identity that you're meant to live. And I talk a lot about self-image, so I've made a lot of videos in the past, and I think self-image is the key to growth, your success, and your confidence. I think it's literally the foundation of success and becoming your best version of yourself, you could say. So what I want you to do is to create a perfect mental image of where you want to be, how do you want to act, what is the person that you want to become. I want you to lay in your bed, okay? I just want you to relax, really lock in, just embody the present moment. I think that is so key. You know, that's what I've learned from meditation. I've been meditating a lot. I'll probably make a video in the future about meditation, but this video is more about getting out of your own way for success, letting our, brains kind of naturally guide us there and giving it the right things to go there and not force anything, get out of your own way. I think that's the main idea of this video. So this is what I'm doing for 30 minutes a day. I'm basically imagining that I'm where I'm at. I'm imagining the person I ultimately want to become, the evolved version of me. This is why I talk about it a lot. Every single day it adds up and I slowly become that person. I think that's so beautiful. So let's say I wake up, this is what I visualize. So I wake up, right? I'm in like a penthouse in like Bali. I get out of bed, I feel light. I feel I'm filled with purpose. I got that feeling in my chest, that like I've made it. The ground is soft, I can smell it smells clean. When I walk, I look down, you can see my physique, the physique that I've built. I go down the stairs, I get a drink of water, it's very detailed. And I'm still working on this, I just started this, but this is what I want you to do. Okay, I want you to create this evolved version of yourself. It doesn't matter the past, all the past does not matter. What matters is who you want to become, where you want to be. Do you want to have a bunch of friends? How do you want to talk? Are you going from, introverted to more social? It's like a video game, bro. Create your video game character. Max out your stats, bro. You can literally do that. That's what's so beautiful about self-image. Create like a video game character and just max out your stats. The possibilities are endless. You can literally create whoever you want. So if you're watching this video and you feel really stuck, you feel very purposeless, I'm making this video for you. The hows will come to you, okay? The only thing you have to do is to take action when the hows come to you. They'll be spontaneous. I'm also teaching myself this because I'm kind of in this thing with you. I'm in this thing with you. That's what's so beautiful about this. I'm not some guru. I'm not some guy who already made it and telling you this, and I forgot about, where I was. I'm in this with you, bro. Like, you can literally just follow what I'm doing. You can literally just copy what I'm doing. You can go with me. But yeah, all you have to do is let your, brain guide you to that. The hows will come with you. And just make spontaneous decisions because the future is fucking uncertain, bro. You don't know what's gonna happen, right? But that is what's so beautiful. And you can literally think you're going on this one path and just do a complete 180. Like me personally right now, I'm trying to become, a content creator. I'm trying to become an educational content creator. But anything can change, and I have a really open mind. But that is what's so beautiful. That is why I think I'm gonna be successful, because I'm so adaptable. And that's why I want you to have too. I know you're fucking ambitious. I know you have that fire in your chest. I know that you want to be successful. You want to be successful, bro. Stop stressing about everything. Stop stressing. Relax. Truly fucking believe in yourself. Okay? I'm not talking about creating the whole fantasy land of where you want to be. No, it's feeling in your bones that you deserve to be there, that you belong to be there. That's how you get there. Creating all this uncertainty, all these stresses, being 100% perfect to do something, that's not how you be successful. The successful people, they started messy. They started, uncertainty, they started scared, and they did it anyway. All right, I hope this really switched a perspective on, being successful, and I really hope this puts you in the direction to achieve your dreams. The only thing you have to do is to get out of your own way. You have to create a mental picture of where you want to be, and just fucking go for it, bro.